Good morning. I hope you're feeling okay today. So this is nice, gentle morning practice with yin, but some of the postures can feel quite advanced. So, if you're not comfortable in the posture, just take a lesser, level for yourself. And taking our Jan mudra, so the thumb and the forefinger are pressed together, the other three fingers are nicely outstretched. And then you can rest the hands down onto the backs of the knees, roll and take the shoulders away from the ears and just lengthen through the neck, really lifting through the entire spine as you just allow the feet, the ankles, the knees, and the hips to relax. As you come to your mat this morning, just taking a few nice deep breaths here for yourself, breathing in through the nose and maybe letting that breath out through the mouth as you just release any tension that you may be holding. Once you've taken a few breaths out of the mouth, maybe just return back to breathing through both nostrils, in and out. And as you start to steady your breath into an equal rhythm, that equal inhale to equal exhale, starting to let all of the thoughts that may be popping up into your mind, let them go for the next 90 minutes of your day. They're not needed here. This is your time, your practice. You can always return to those thoughts, but for now, just draw into the breath. Also draw into how your body actually feels for you today. You can continue using that exhale breath throughout the practice to release even deeper, let go even further, and surrender even more. And when it comes to yin, looking at our three principles of yin yoga, holding the pose, finding stillness, and working towards your edge. And that edge is very different for each individual. We all have a different edge when we come to our mat. Looking at a scale of 1 to 10, your edge in flow might be a little bit higher for yourself, maybe a 6, 7, 8. When we're working with yin, it might be a lot less, like a 3, a 4, or a 5. When we look at restorative yoga, we might even have an edge of 1 or 2. So each and every time we come to our mat, we always feel different, and we take our practice as it comes on that particular day. And each posture will change for you today. Sometimes you might have a higher edge or a lesser edge in each of the asana. And we'll be taking some of the asana for longer, deeper holds today. So always respect and honor your own body. Coming out of the posture if you need to, really trying to sit with yourself and just make yourself as comfortable as you can. And our theme and focus for our practice today will be freedom and release. So however that theme resonates with you, freedom and release, just draw into your intention. Maybe setting a positive affirmation or statement for yourself to follow through your practice. Freedom and release. Nice and slowly, as you breathe in, take the arms, continuing with that Jan Mudra, up to shoulder height. Allow the shoulders to rest. Fingertips are reaching away from you. Palms are nicely upturned towards the sky, and then just a gentle lift into the upper chest. So just lift the chest, maybe the gaze goes up towards the sky. You open the heart space. Take a few nice deep breaths here, breathing in through the nose, all the way down to the root of your spine. And then slowly, as you breathe in, the arms raise above the head, release that Jan Mudra and place the palms together. And just dropping the shoulders, lengthening through the spine, but reaching away with the fingertips above your head. And then slowly, as you breathe out, draw those hands in towards the third eye, the thumb connects, and just take a moment to reflect on your intention. The third eye, the area of our intuition and foresight, the area of our drishti and our focus. Bringing the thumbs down to the lips and being truthful and authentic with your intention and also with your practice today. And then bringing the thumbs down to the heart space into Anjali Mudra. And drawing your intention into your heart for kindness and self-love for your practice today. And nice and gently releasing the Anjali Mudra, taking the palms back to the knees and slowly blinking open the eyes. And then just coming from your seat, taking time to come into a child's pose. So you can make the child's pose as comfortable as you wish. I'm going to use a bolster for my child's pose today. So the bolster comes between my legs, my knees are wide, my toes are together behind me. And then as I fall down, I try and give myself some additional space within the spine to come down and rest the entire body and the head all the way down onto the bolster. If you don't have a bolster available, maybe cushions, or maybe you just wish to connect the forehead down towards the mat into a nice relaxed child's pose this morning. As we come into our first posture, just allow the breath to be nice and steady, equal inhale to equal exhale. And on each exhale, let go even further. Let go even deeper. Relax even more. And throughout each asana today, just really checking in with your body, bringing that focus towards your intention of freedom and release within the body, within the joints, within the muscular system, releasing and letting go of contraction within the muscles, but working deeper into the connective tissue and the fascia. And Aristotle once quoted, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And nice and slowly, just bringing the hands towards the knees as you just bring yourself up. Really nice and slowly. There's never any rush to come out of a posture. Sitting nice and tall, taking the props away, and just bringing the knees together. Sitting nice and tall in kneeling pose, and just find that length through the entire spine. Letting go of the lower body, trying not to find tension within the hips, the knees, or the ankles. Lengthening through the spine all the way to the crown of your head. And then just coming forward into a tabletop position just for a little warm up with cat and cow. So bringing the knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. And then as you inhale, you lengthen through the front and the back of the body. Exhale into that high cat, pressing away from the mat. Find some mobilization within your spine, using and initiating the movement with that breath. Exhale to curl into cat. Inhale to open into cow. You can move at your own pace, your own length of breath. Taking one more here. Nice deep inhale, open through the chest, dropping the belly, and exhale into cat. Reach high into the upper back and then come back into neutral and just release gently back and swing the legs around in front of you for caterpillar. Taking the legs out in front of you again using props and bolsters. Actually, I'm going to swing around this way. It's a little bit easier. So using props and bolsters as you wish. I'm going to take a bolster once more underneath my knees here. You can always sit on a block if you have very tight hamstrings. I'm going to take this nice and easy. And as you fold forward, again, just allow the body to relax into the hips. So make sure that you give yourself that space underneath the buttocks to be able to fold the body forward. The feet are nice and relaxed. You can take the hands wherever they feel comfortable. And again, just allow the head to drop and release forward. Doesn't have to be any forcing within the pose. When we hold a pose for a number of minutes, the pose tends to become a little bit deeper for us. It's always making ourselves comfortable in that first few moments of the posture. We never have to go to our maximum edge first of all. Using that exhale to deepen. Surrender even further. And relax and release even more. And a quote from Pema Chodron: "Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know." Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Trying to maintain that present moment. Not letting the mind drift away into thoughts from past and future. You can return to those later. For now, this is your time, your practice to truly come inwards, using that breath, using your focus towards your intention of freedom and release through the mind, through the body, and through the breath. Taking a few more deep breaths here just to relax, let go even further. And slowly just walking the hands back towards the hips as you slowly roll up through the spine, keeping the head just tucked in towards the chest, and then releasing yourself from your props and taking the hands back behind you and just windscreen wiper those knees out to the side. Always being intuitive within your own practice to know what your body needs when we come out of a posture. And then coming into our shoelace pose with those archer arms. So there are 2 options or 3 options with the legs. You can always sit either with the feet together in butterfly, or you can cross the legs, which is obviously more comfortable for you. You can come to kneeling, or you can take the left leg across, and then you can sit back in between the heels. So you can always use a block to sit on behind you. So this is quite a deep sense of release into the buttocks and the hips, just the legs alone. So when we introduce the arms of archer arms, and in Hatha Yoga this pose is cow face or Gomukhasana. But this is shoelace legs and archer arms. So you can always use a strap. The arms go out to the side, and then so right arm goes up and the left arm comes underneath, and maybe those fingers touch behind the back, and that's okay if they don't, or you're using a strap. And if that's really quite uncomfortable for you, then you can just place the hand on the back of the head and the underneath hand just by the sacrum. So as you come into this pose, just take a few nice deep breaths and notice where you are. There's a lot going on. We're working with obviously the arms and the legs at the same time. Try to stay nice and long within the spine. Try to release the lower rib cage downwards towards the abdomen. Try not to have a protruding rib cage. And just keep lengthening away from the shoulders with the neck and the crown of the head as you draw the shoulders down the back. So in each exhale, just try and release into the posture a little bit deeper for yourself. Always finding comfort and trying to find that enjoyment within the pose. Maintaining a nice steady breath. This is a quote by Eckhart Tolle. The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. Primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. So you could actually say that that quote could be quite appropriate within this pose, is that it's never the discomfort, it's your thoughts and your reactions towards it and how you cope with any discomfort. Leading into pain, that's something different, and you would need to come out of your posture if you felt any pain. Discomfort and challenge, you know your own body. I am only here as your guide. You can always take a lesser pose for yourself, either with the arms or with the legs. And it's finding that level for yourself, that level towards your own edge. And they change between each posture. The body reacts differently, and it's how you react to what your body's telling you. As I say, knowing yourself brings that further wisdom. Nice and slowly release the arms, and then just take a gentle press with the palms out to the sides, as if you're pressing two walls away from you. And then slowly release the hands, release the legs. Take a moment to do what you need to before we come into the other side. So maybe you want to windscreen wiper those legs out to the side once more. And then finding the pose on the other side, we're going to come straight into it. My hips are particularly tight today after being in the car for a couple of hours yesterday. So you really notice, the impact of daily life that it has on our own bodies when we come to the mat. And then the arms go out to the side, and taking the left arm up towards the sky and the right arm behind the back. And again, just maybe those fingers touch, maybe they don't. You can always take that option of placing the hand on the back of your head and the underneath arm by the sacrum, or using a strap to hold on to. Again, as you deep breath out, exhale into releasing into the hips. Find that freedom and release for yourself. And just being aware what's going on within the upper body, into the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. With each breath, maybe you feel yourself getting deeper and letting yourself go deeper into the pose, allowing that sense of release from tension within the body, within the joints. Surrendering even further. A few more deep breaths here. Deep exhale. Deep inhales. And then slowly unravel the arms. Press the palms out to the side. And then release the arms. Release the legs. Taking away the blocks, props, whatever you have. And then just releasing the legs out in front of you and a windscreen wiper those knees out to the side. And maybe you just wish to circle the shoulders back around a few times if you felt some tightness coming across the shoulders, and then circle the other way. Then coming into our straddle pose. So the legs go wide to the outer edges of your mat. You can always sit sideways onto the mat if you prefer. You can use bolsters again or blocks. And if you've got one or two blocks, then maybe they can balance on top of one another. And you can use that to rest the head down. Depends on where you are within your own practice, of course. Coming into straddle pose, folding forward, relaxing the head, relaxing the neck, feeling that deep stretch through the cervical spine all the way into the thoracic. Letting the body feel heavy towards the earth. And finding that comfortable point for you to hold and stay where you feel resistance, and working towards your edge from there. Allowing the lower body to be completely released from any tension and tightness as you breathe out. Relax all muscles. Go deeper into the connective tissue. Maybe on the hamstrings, the inside thighs, the groin. And wherever you feel this within the posture, always respecting and honoring your own body. And a quote from the Mahajaya Sati Bhagavati. As you quiet the mind, the soul will speak. As you quiet the mind, the soul will speak. Continuing to use the breath to let go even further, let go even deeper. If ever you find that you've gone too far in a pose, just pull yourself back just a little bit and lessen the challenge. Yin has an element of challenge to it, but it's also supposed to be quite relaxing, releasing, freeing, and restoring. It's a very nourishing practice in towards the joints. Yin, yoga for the joints. We're here just for a few more moments. Nice and slowly, just walking those hands back towards the body as you roll up through the spine, keeping the head towards the chest, bringing the shoulders back in line with the hips, sitting upright as you raise the head, and then just gently lift the knees, bring the legs in towards one another, and then give yourself a little gentle hug here. Maybe the knees just rocking towards one another. Whatever feels good into the hips, the inner thighs, the groin here, the spine. And then nice and slowly rolling up through the spine, taking the props away. And then just windscreen wipering those knees out to the side once more. So we're going to come into deer pose. So the left leg comes out in front of you, the right leg goes back behind. And wherever you feel that that foot is going to be more comfortable for you for that back hip, we're going to be folding over our leg. So you may wish to use blocks or bolsters to rest the body on. And then just gently twist the body and just fold over that front thigh. And if you don't have a bolster, maybe the body is coming all the way down towards the mat and you may be really comfortable here, and you can always turn the head towards the side. It's always nice to have the spine aligned, but whatever feels comfortable. And just allowing the body to let go. As we come into deer pose, just take a check-in with the body after a few postures now. Coming about halfway into our sequence. Hopefully you're finding some freedom and release within the joints, within the connective tissue, going deeper than the muscle groups. Letting all contraction and engagement release. Thinking about the target areas of this particular posture, which will be into the spine, the hips, the hip flexors, the buttocks, and also the hamstrings. It's taking your mind's focus to that area, breathing out nice and deeply, allowing the entire lower body to just let go. And Thich Nhat Hanh once said, at any moment, you have a choice that either leads you closer to your spirit or further away from it. At any moment, you have a choice that either leads you closer to your spirit or further away from it. As we stay for a few moments longer, just deepening the breath to release even further. Letting go of any tension that you may be experiencing, any sensations that are popping up for you. Using that breath, that focus from your mind with the body. Nice and slowly, walking the hands back towards the knee. And as you become more upright, just take a moment to give yourself a little lift and a gentle twist. So you might feel a stretch into this back leg. You might feel a stretch into the spine. Sitting nice and tall, you twist towards that front leg, maybe gazing over that back shoulder. And then gently release and bring the legs together. Just take the legs out in front of you this time and just give the legs a little shake here. And coming to the other side. So again, just finding that nice comfortable posture for yourself, using the props as necessary. Maybe you're going all the way down towards the mat, and that's okay as well, wherever you are within your practice. And as you settle into your second side, just notice any differences that are popping up. Notice if one side is a little less challenging than the other, or if it is more challenging. And also taking a look at your responses, your reaction towards that. Returning to that equal, steady breath, equal inhale to equal exhale. And on that exhale breath, just allow yourself to Release even further. Relax all muscles. Surrender into freedom of the pose. Maybe smiling to yourself as you enjoy the pose. Holding for a few moments more, deepening the breath as you release even further. Maybe removing the props to go deeper. Then nice and slowly, just bringing yourself up gently. Rolling up, bringing those hands, one inside the leg, one on the outside. Gentle twist towards that front thigh, maybe looking over that back shoulder. And then gently release the legs out in front of you and just let the legs release. Okay. So here we are coming into our frog pose. So I'm going to use a bolster underneath me. The legs go out to the side and the hips kind of probably want to be away from the bolster. And if you're on a hard surface, you might wish to double up the mat. So you can always just fold up the mat and then place the knees onto that for extra padding. But it's important not to go too far into that first section of frog because we're going to be here for a while. So just make sure that you're nice and comfortable. And maybe the feet come out to the sides, 90-degree bend into the knee, 90-degree bend into the hip, 90-degree bend into the ankles. And allow yourself time to just find and settle. Try not to arch into the spine too much. If you've got something underneath you, you can always use blocks to rest the head on. And a wonderful quote, Perfect for Frog by Barbara Ward. We have forgotten how to be good guests, how to walk lightly on the earth as its other creatures do. We have forgotten how to be good guests, how to walk lightly on the earth as its other creatures do. It's just making sure that you are comfortable wherever you are. If the knees and the ankles are uncomfortable, just bring those feet together behind you. Try to relax into the toes, let the hips feel heavy down towards the earth. Relaxing into the buttocks, allowing the spine to be supported and comfortable. Taking a few deeper breaths here, just for a few moments more. Exhale, let go even further. Let gravity do the work for you. Nice and gently bringing the hands back to where they're supporting you, bringing the toes to touch, and then just rocking backwards and forwards. And then slowly bringing the knees in towards one another, and then coming back up into that kneeling pose, sitting upright, bringing the hands to the thighs, taking a few nice deep breaths, just taking a check of what's going on in the area where we've just worked. And then just coming into a dragon lunge. So bringing the right foot to the right wrist. You can turn that toe out if you prefer, or it can face forward. Try to keep the ankle in line with that front knee. And you can always use props to support you here. Try to allow that leg to soften back behind you and just sink the hips downwards towards the earth. Keeping upright within the spine, we're not here for long. It's just a counter pose from our frog. Again, gravity takes that body downwards. Try to release any contraction in the muscles. Let go of the buttocks. Let go of the hips. Deep sense of stretch and release. And then nice and slowly just press yourself back and release that right leg. Come back into tabletop. Just sway the hips from side to side here. Maybe a few circles into the hips, into the spine. And then bringing the left foot to the left wrist. Again, either facing that foot forward or turning that foot out for a deeper sense of stretch into that dragon lunge. Make sure that back knee is nice and comfortable and padded. Keeping upright through the spine, all the way to the crown of the head, and allow the hips just to sink on that exhale. A few more deep breaths. And then gently just rock yourself back towards that back knee. Bring that left knee to join the right. Again, just sway the hips from side to side and a few circles going each way. So coming into saddle pose. So the knees can come to the outer edges of the mat. Now, you may need cushions, blocks, bolsters here, depending on how flexible you are. I'm going to actually take a bolster behind me and come forward a little bit. So in saddle pose, we want to just release those calves away from our front thighs so that we can maybe get the buttocks down between the heels. If the buttocks don't go down between the heels, place a block. You can always sit on a block or a bolster here. That's going to lift you a little bit more upright. And maybe this is enough for you. This might be enough for you to stay and hold for a few minutes. But again, if you start in this position, you may always go a little bit deeper with each minute that passes, and you might be able to bring those buttocks down and then maybe release onto the back. So it's just making sure that you find your comfortable place within saddle. And again, the arms can come back behind you, just resting by the top of the head. if you wish to open through the chest, through the rib cage, into those abdominal stretch, and also the rib cage opening. And maybe you're already down to the floor without the bolster. Allowing a sense of freedom through the front and the back of your bodies. Allow a sense of release into the quadriceps, the thighs, the hip flexors. Just working with the pose wherever you may be. Use that exhale to release and go deeper. Surrender even further. This is a quote by Osho. Get out of your head and get into your heart. Think less and feel more. And this is a wonderful quote for what we're doing right now, because our heart is really, really opening that chest, that heart space. You know, we get out of your head and into your heart. Think less and feel more. So as you lie here in saddle pose, just feel, notice what you're feeling within the body. Try to let go deeper with the breath. Try to find that focus from your mind rather than letting your mind drift away into other thoughts and not being within that present moment. Drawing that focus inwards. Holding for just a few moments more. If you wish to go deeper, just removing the props away from you, and maybe you come down a little bit further for yourself. And very gently coming out of the posture, just bringing yourself back up onto the elbows, bringing the head up first, looking along the body, and then bringing the hands underneath you as you just gently press up, taking time, no need to rush. Then just bringing those feet together, coming back into a kneeling pose. As the knees are together, just for a few breaths, sit nice and tall, realign through that spine. And then swinging the legs out in front of you to release. And windscreen wiper, the knees out to the sides. We're going to come down onto our backs. So just making sure that you're nice and warm. So if you've got jumpers and socks to put on, please do. Not necessarily needing any straps or bolsters at this point, but nice slow roll down through the spine as you draw the knees in towards the chest. Really try to connect the entire spine underneath you. We've worked a lot into stretching into the joints, the vertebrae of the spine. So at this point, you might just really want to allow the spine to gently release into the mat. And you can massage yourself by just rocking and rolling the body from side to side, or just bringing the knees in and taking them away again. Coming into a spinal twist, you may wish to lengthen that leg all the way along the mat, or you may wish to have that knee bent. But we're going to bring the right leg over across the body, and maybe it rests onto a block, depending on if it comes down towards the mat or not. That toe might hook behind that knee, and then just take the arms out to the side and try to open across the front of your chest here as you relax that right shoulder downwards towards the mat. So maybe that knee meets the mat, maybe it doesn't. You might be feeling something in the outer leg, in the outer hip, also the inner thigh, the inner groin. You might be feeling a sense of stretching across the upper body as well, into the shoulders, the chest, the collarbone, and the throat. And just taking a few deep breaths here as you close the eyes. And if that knee keeps kind of raising up and you really would like to just pull it down a little, you can add your hand onto the back of the knee just for extra weight. You don't have to force that knee down in any way. It's just adding some extra weight onto the knee to allow gravity to take it downwards towards the mat. Then nice and slowly, as you just bring yourself back into center, again, release through the spine, maybe massage, roll out before you come to the other side. Again, taking your choice of either the leg being straight or bent, and then taking that left leg across the body, maybe hooking that toe behind that knee, and just opening the arms out to the side as you open across the front of your chest, collarbones, maybe introducing that hand as additional weight to draw that knee down. Real peace is unshakable. Bliss is unchanged by gain or loss. Quotes by the yogi Bhajan. Real peace is unshakable. Bliss is unchanged by gain or loss. Nice and slowly bringing yourself back into center. And just a final knees towards the chest. And rolling and massaging out and preparing for our final relaxation in Shavasana. Making sure you're comfortable and warm. We'll be taking a nice relaxation here. And as you now come down onto your mat into corpse pose in Shavasana, this is your final pose and also your final relaxation for your practice today. And you can make your corpse pose as comfortable as you wish by using those props. You can use a bolster underneath the knees, letting the feet and the ankles relax down to the outer edges of your mat. Relaxing into the legs, letting the buttocks, the hips, the pelvis as one feel heavy. Relax the abdomen as you just release into the lower back. Allowing the spine to be nice and soft here. The rib cage is relaxed, the chest, the collarbone. The arms are out to the sides with the palms face up towards the sky. Fingers are naturally just curling, not outstretched, being forced. Tension within the hands. The neck is nice and soft, nice and long. Shoulders are relaxed, spread out underneath you. And the back of your head feels supported. As you now take those nice steady breaths, breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the nose, slow down the breath as you slow down the heart rate. Slow down the thoughts. And that theme and focus towards our practice and your intention today of freedom and release, that letting go, that full surrender into what will be. That's really coming from you, coming from your mind and your body, to let go within yin, to truly find that deep sense of release. This is a beautiful quote by Maya Angelou. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do it with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Just taking a few deeper breaths to bring your awareness back into your body, back into your room and your mat. And bringing some movement back into the fingers, the wrists, the toes and the ankles. And doing what you need to awaken your body from your relaxation. Either giving yourself a stretch or drawing the knees in towards the chest as you just roll and massage out through the spine. And taking time to roll over to one side, just gently pressing yourself up, no rush to come up. Back to seated, bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra at heart center. Taking a few nice deep breaths as you sit nice and tall. Relax the toes, the ankles, the knees and the hips in towards the earth. Breathe in and lengthen through the spine all the way to the crown of your head. And returning back to your intention or your sankalpa, your positive affirmation for practice today. Finding that freedom and release, not just on the mat, not just from a physical or a mental practice, but also finding freedom and release within your daily life. How you can be free from struggles and ties, and also that sense of release towards calm and peace. Extending the arms outwards, palms face up towards the sky, out to shoulder height. Breathe in, bring the arms up above the head, maybe a gaze up towards the sky, and as you bring the hands down, pass by the third eye, the area of intuition and foresight. Draw into your intention to take that into your day. Draw the thumbs towards the mouth and the lips for truth and authenticity. And into the heart for some love and kindness to yourself and to others. Giving thanks and gratitude to yourself today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much and namaste.